You on the TV?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the April 8th meeting of the Public Transportation Advisory Committee. I'd like to call this meeting to order and start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would all rise, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda after the pledge is the acceptance of minutes. I hope everybody had a chance to review the minutes. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on the minutes? Any corrections? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We have a presentation by a couple of folks tonight, and so we will, I would suggest, move that the item parking infrastructure and management to the front so that we can accommodate everybody's schedules, and people don't have to stay longer than they might otherwise need to. And since most of the other discussion items are really not interesting to people outside of town, we'll go right into that. So, as most of you may be aware, the town council has charged this committee with to issue a report on the possibility of adopting some parking management strategies, including paid parking, and to that effect, due to the wonderful work of our police department, and we have presentations here today from a couple of vendors who might be interested in helping us implement parking management, and certainly today we will learn what that entails, what that might entail, what that would look like, and how we might implement it here in Newmarket. So, anybody want to draw on who wants to go first, or do you want to introduce yourselves? Okay, we can go by.
We have somebody from the community, somebody from the communities here, just to talk about their concerns there on Water Street.
Yeah,
You
we'll
wanna do that
address.
first?
No,
Okay.
we'll address that. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I work for Arrive. My name's Avery Schaefer.
Thank you.
Arrive is the parent company for both Park Mobile and Clover.
And please make sure that you actually speak. Yeah,
Oh, sure.
because people are watching
Oh,
offline.
sure.
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes, that's great.
So Arrive is the parent company, and we are very much wanting to partner with you and help you with this topic. And so I'm just going to describe what we offer and give you some information so you're more informed. There we go. Arrive, as I said, is a parent company for Slowbird and Park Mobile. Park Mobile is a leading mobile payment option for all of the apps. We serve 75 million users in our country and nearly monthly transactions serving 600 cities and municipalities, with 47 of the top 100 cities in the U.S. using Park Mobile. We have 25 airports and 150 universities, so we handle a lot, and we're ready for a lot. That being said, a lot of the towns and communities have to customize what they do. So we come in with a strong program, but it's going to be something that's specific to you. We are adopted by 1 in 10 users or drivers in the U.S. and use it across the travel, so 25% of those users when you're in our location or visiting. Please interrupt if anyone has any questions. Park Mobile network is quite vast. This is a map of the U.S. and it shows where we are located. We're very heavy on the East Coast with a mission to get further into the Midwest and the West Coast. The West Coast is growing So just shows that we are popular and successful. The app itself is very easy to use once a community has it set up. We have zones that show where you park. So if you pull into the street and the zone is 10410, that will either come up on the app you already have, or when you have download the app, it will show up and then you can proceed through the next steps. All of this takes seconds. We also have a customer service person available 24/7, 365 days a year if you have any questions related to downloading an app. So
Can I just interrupt?
Sure.
Let's say I'm looking for a parking spot and I can't find one. Can the app help me find an open spot or suggest a zone to look in?
It
Yeah.
can, and then also when you pull into a spot, it will say that the zone is available. It will tell you where to go.
Okay.
So if you have to say which zone you are in, and then you can take the next steps. Which once you have it downloaded, you select your zone. You choose. I have both my car and my husband's car. Go ahead.
Can we hold question? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that-
It's just because we don't have a microphone back there, so we'll do that after. Thank you, though.
Okay.
It's a good question.
So when the zone comes up, you choose the zone, you choose your time, and it automatically sets up a parking session for you, and then it will start the countdown. So then you can go about your business, you have a paid parking session started, and the countdown will begin. And it will show on your lock screen. So you can request and choose if you want push notifications, email notifications, and text notifications are also available. So it's very easy to manage your parking. So if you want to add to it, or you want to just remind yourself that you want to get back over there. There are also several ways to pay. For my own personal situation, I have one credit card set up for both my car and my husband's car. You can also pay through the app, pay on the website, and then when you get that text message, you can click on that and make a payment. So it's very easy. Mine happens all the time. There's equitable access for Park Mobile to pay. You can use a net spend card, and you can also call in to pay, so you don't have to use a credit card should you choose not to. Checkout is very quick. You can take a picture of a QR code and use that. It will link right to the option to text to pay, or you can check out as a guest. Needing to do specific information. Included with Park Mobile is an enforcement tool that is sort of a backup way to look at what's happening in the community. So if you go into a zone or a set of zones, it will show you who has paid in an alphanumeric order. Therefore, you will see who has not paid, and you can take it as one. One of the of Park Mobile is the back end, where the dashboard will show you anything from live data to what's happened over the last year. And that will slice and dice your data, both financial and parking data, any way you want it. And you can generate reports to be sent to your email every day, every week, every month, whatever you want to do. It's also leveled, so if you want certain people to have full access, that's possible. And then you can also make other people, they can have access to just the parking data or just the financial data. I sort of geek out on that. It's pretty interesting to look at. We are the market leader in customer care. I mentioned it's available 24/7 and 365 days a year. 50,000 customer service contacts per month. We have a minimum satisfaction score of 90%, and 85% of our calls are answered within the first 30 seconds. Park Mobile is also a level 1 PCI compliant company for data security. We don't sell data, and we want the status of a credit card company. So we want that level of security for our data and your data. Arrive is, as I said, is a parent company for Park Mobile, which is the app, and Flowbird for kiosks. Should you choose to bring in kiosks, they're the leader in the industry. They're leader with innovation. I can go into great detail, but I don't know if you need additional information on the kiosks.
think we would appreciate
A little bit?
Yes, especially if the kiosk is a way for people to pay in cash.
Yes, you can add the cash option. It's has a solar panel on top, and that's how it's charged. That charges the battery that is in the bottom of the kiosk. We have people bring in an extra supply, so if something happens and you need a new battery, it's just a quick switch out of a battery, just like simple. I could do it. It's wireless communication. It offers options to pay. We recommend setting it up so it's ADA compliant. The touch screen is 9.7 inches, and it's set up in a very readable placement within the kiosk. It's got stainless steel. It's perfect for New England, and it's graffiti proof. So it's got the paint, so if something happens to it, you can easily untag it.
How is it affixed to the?
It's on a, we have
pad?
Directions, but it's a concrete pad,
Yeah.
and then you're bolting it in. It's also double, the cavity of it has, I'm always using my hand, so now I have the microphone, but it's, the steel is wrapped around twice, so it's very hard to, no one can break into it. And that is our overview of these products. Thank you for letting me run through this.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
And why don't we hold up with questions for now until we go through the second presentation, and then if they generate questions, we can ask those. Is that okay for everybody else? Are you guys all here for these presentations? Yes. Okay. Good. You do.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time today to meet with us, and we will answer any questions you have regarding any of the technology that you need. We're not just park loyalty experts, we're parking experts, so we can answer any questions. I know it's the toughest part of launching a parking program is going from a non-paid environment to a paid environment. So a lot of our clients who go through that process, we actually are more of a consultant to help them manage their new business that they're about to undertake. Park Mobile is a very, very tight integration partner from us. So where we fit into the mold is we actually help you manage compliance of parking. So people who use the app to pay get rewarded for that behavior, and then people who don't, then we figure out how to set business rules around making sure that they know that there's a compliance issue behind that. So we're on the enforcement side, and I know they had mentioned a little bit about the enforcement application on how to get lists. So we actually automate that whole process. So an enforcement officer would have a handheld device similar to this. This is a Samsung S24. It's on an Android application. We are also on iOS. So the officer would enter the plate number manually into the device, hit the scan button, and then from there they would get results back on the status of that plate and vehicle. If it's paid, the tab will show paid. If it's not paid, then they can go through issuing a citation or compliance behind it.
It runs the app runs on a unique device. It's not you can't download it on private devices.
So we do major cities and market level cities. So Wells, Maine uses our application here locally, and we also run the parking system for the city of Philadelphia. They write 2.5 million tickets a year. So depending on the IT requirements behind it, we can actually have it downloaded on a personal device for the officer, or what we prefer to do is we prefer to supply an MDM software, which is a software that runs on the background of the device, so that if the officer's in the field and they're having any technical issues, they can get direct support that logs into the handheld and walks them through pairing a Bluetooth printer or logging in if they have any credential issues and stuff like that. So in the city of Hartford, we run the Hartford Parking Authority. They had an employee that was terminated, and they forgot to give him access to the facility or deny his access to the facility. He went in and took all the handhelds and started just throwing them around the city in dumpsters and gutters. And we were able to retrieve most of those devices because of that MDM software.
Mm-hmm.
So we can find locations, we track locations, and we do all that kind of stuff. So it's really up to you. We just launched in Harrison Hot Springs in British Columbia, Canada, and their IT division wanted us to allow them to manage the MDM software, so we have that application too. So if you want to take it in-house, no problem. If you want us to manage it for you, no problem. We're kind of a la carte application.
Okay.
So a little bit about our company. So our company was founded by a gentleman named Sriram Samanchi, and he had been designing citation enforcement software for multiple companies in the parking industry for decades. And then he just was like, maybe I can do this myself. So that's where we ran into. He developed the enforcement application for the city of Philadelphia, and here we are today. So we focus on quality, customer focus. Our onboarding process for our clients is really easy and straightforward. And then the person that we assign to your account during the inception is your account manager for the entirety of your account. Go to the next slide. That's our company structure right now. So Sriram Samanchi is our CTO and founder. Mark Lucy is our CEO. I'm in a golf shirt on the right-hand side, and then these are the staff and divisions underneath our organization. We're about 40 engineers on staff, so we're developing continuously. So we're a technology company that's in the parking industry.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of differentiates us from most of the parking companies that design technology. Our footprint is expanding, so we do 140 locations nationwide, growing every day, and then we're in 38 states and in Canada. So we've got
How many towns of the size of Newmarket? We have 9,500 people here. Are you serving?
So we serve clients. We have probably 40 customers that have one handheld and write 100 tickets a year. And then we have cities like Philadelphia that have 300 officers in the field every day and issue 2.5 million citations.
So there's a wide range.
Wide range. Yeah. And the way that we've designed our technology, I don't want to get into the weeds on this, but cities like Newmarket have never been able to take advantage of this type of technology because the cost to get into this is very expensive. We are a subscription-based company, so there's no upfront cost. We don't charge for integrations. It's a month-to-month subscription. If it's seasonal, like Wells, they turn their handhelds off in the off-season, so they're not being charged for devices that aren't being used. The website is all handled and branded for your market and actually is kind of paid for in the citation process. So when citizens go online to pay a parking citation, there's a convenience fee that's captured as part of the online environment, and you get 100% of the revenue. So it's very, very, it's designed specifically for this type of market that's been underserved in our industry for a very long time.
So the subscription that, or the monthly subscription is based on the number of devices that
number of handhelds, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also if you have back-end administration, so think of it like I hate to use the analogy, but think of it like a Netflix subscription or a Amazon subscription. When you use it, you get charged for it. When you're not using it, you don't get charged. So in the past, cities would like in Wells, Maine, they would be paying $1,000 a month for all the subscriptions, even if they're not using the devices. So we've fixed that model.
Is there an onboarding fee just
No.
not just the
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in Wells, we built a custom design permit application system for them that includes a transfer station decal and a multi-pass in a boat launch application. We were there today and it was like, Chris asked me, he's like, hey, we're going to start charging for boat launches. Can we add that to our permit portal? Sure. And we don't charge for that development. It's all custom designed specifically for you.
So when you say permit portal, is that is that a public interface, or is that something that is used in an office environment that in order somebody comes in, wants to get a permit for whatever it is, that's issued by, let's
Like over
say-
the counter. Yeah.
Yeah, over the counter.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
both. So the citizen can go on to the website and buy their permit. The application process is really straightforward. They enter in their information. We do some specific, in Wells, it was very specific that you had to have a parcel ID to apply for a certain type of permit. You can't use you can't be a visitor and get a transfer station permit. You have to actually have a parcel number that has an address, and the citizen is required to upload evidence and documentation in the application process. Then goes to the town, and then the town opens a queue. Every morning they come in, there's there's 5 permits that are in the queue. They open them up, make sure the evidence is good. They hit a button, and then it automatically charges the citizen's credit card that they have on file. And then that license plate is now active in our enforcement application. When they enter the plate number, it shows them exactly the permit requirements for that citizen. So it's very
the permits that they have acquired.
correct.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, can you talk to how you are interfacing with Park Mobile, let's say?
Yeah, it's a really tight integration. So in Philadelphia, I mean, do you want to just kind of, can you escape from that and just log into PPA?
Thank you.
Mhm. Philadelphia. Can't do it from your little wireless mouse over there? No, no. I'm sorry? Can we what?
I've got a couple kids down in Philadelphia. Can we talk later?
We can. Do you know their plate numbers?
Right.
No, I'm serious. If you know their plate numbers, I can pull them up and see if they've got a ticket. Sorry, is this? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, maybe let's not. Oh, here we go.
Well,
Just give me one quick second.
yep. Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted the process there.
That's all right. No, we like to navigate. We believe in death by demo for sure. No problem. So the way that the integration works with, as Melina will figure it out, she's really good at this stuff. The way that the integration works with all of our partners, and there's a slide where I'll show you all the companies we're integrated with. Once a transaction is made in the Park Mobile application,
Yes.
we have a direct pull API. So we pull that transaction information directly to our database, and now that transaction is stored in our facility. So when the enforcement officer enters the handheld or the license plate, it actually goes to our database and will show the Park Mobile transaction in the enforcement field on the handheld. So it's a super tight integration. And in Philadelphia, they're writing millions of tickets a year, and they're doing thousands of Park Mobile transactions a day. And we actually manage the latency. So the key about enforcement is you need to have the information as fast as you can on payments and the status of a plate, so that when it gets scanned, you know that they're legitimate.
You don't have a lag time.
Right. So we manage latency. So our latency in Philly is about 30 seconds on average, and we set queues up where we notify Park Mobile and or the city if we don't receive a transaction within a certain time frame that we're used to, so we can manage not giving citizens citations who actually had made the attempt to park. So we've eliminated that whole experience of, hey, I paid to park and I still got a ticket. We've literally almost eliminated that. It's like 0.001%.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare. on a good run there for a second.
Yeah, it's good thing to know that technology is not always. There we go. There's something.
I'd like to be on that beach doing this presentation right now.
No, nobody would be paying attention.
Well, as long as they made me feel like they were, I'd be okay.
Thank you.
So this is actually live production in Philly.
Yeah.
So right now they've issued 5,992 tickets. They've scanned 72,367 plates.
What kind of a time frame are we talking about here?
Today.
This view. This is today.
Today.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is a today.
It's just
Okay.
a today view. So you'll see. Yeah. So if you go down, I don't know why it's showing like that on the screen. Yeah. That's not going to work unless you're. So we manage like everything from active officers. So if you just scroll down and show the active officers, or move your screen down, Melina. Yeah. So keep going. Yeah, right there. So right now they have 275 officers in the field. And if you open that map up, you'll see exactly their locations and where they are. So we're monitoring all this. We know they're exactly where the citations are being issued. We're reverse geocode fencing everything that's been issued, so you have all the evidence that you need. And then if you go over to, if you get out of that, Melina, and go over to integrations, click on that. Yeah. So right now we've got, right there. So right now, can you hide that left menu? Yeah. So right now as you can see here, this is the Park Mobile. These are all the Park Mobile transactions. And the city of Philadelphia, we don't have a direct integration with Park Mobile until 9 a.m. So they dump all of the transactions in the evening outside of enforcement hours. And then you can see this streamline where we're getting transactions in an average of 1:34. It's kind of skewed. It's less than 30 seconds. And then if you go back to the other screen, the main menu, Melina, you can see here, the main dashboard, go down to the time it takes officers to issue tickets. Yep. So they're writing tickets in an average of 42 seconds. So that number has to be, that's an incredible 42 seconds to issue parking citation from the time you scan but from the time that you enter the plate in manually into the device is incredible. And as long as the Park Mobile integration with us is less than that, then you're never going to issue a citation. So when we get a payment from Park Mobile that's over 42 seconds, we notify the city and we notify Park Mobile, and then it gets rectified. So we handle it on this side of the fence. They obviously have their own analytics that manage their data transfers too, but we're the ones who get hit if someone gets a ticket who actually paid to park. So we've eliminated that problem.
Could you show us an example of different types of permits
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
that are being managed and how they're being managed?
Here, can you go to the Wells main? So we do it three different ways. I'll show you what Wells is doing.
And the reason I'm asking is because we're interested in a greater utilization of our outlying lots, of the public parking lots versus the on-street parking, and so what might that look like, and how is that managed, and how does this does your product facilitate that?
Right. So in Wells, Maine, they have 3 permits. They have a multi-use permit. If you go down, they've got a transfer station permit. It's not showing well on the screen because of the way it's being transferred to the image. I think we can reduce the size of that to put it all on one screen. See if I can just quickly do that. Oh, he's gone. He's got you on a second screen, doesn't he? I see. What if I change it to that? No, that's not good. What if I change it to, that's the highest. How's that look? A little better? No, not really. But yeah, so there's 3 ways to do permits. Like, they only have 3 permits there. So if you click on the permit application for the mooring sticker, you select that permit, and then it walks you through a flow for the citizen where, how many permits do you want? Can you go down and show the...
Oh.
So permit quantity, we'll select one, click next, and it takes you through the
Yep.
business rules that you require. It also allows just walk through all that, Melina. It also requires you to upload evidence that allows you to apply for that permit. And then once the permit applicant hits submit, it goes into a queue for the city to come in the next day or that active that moment and review the evidence, make sure it's good, and then approve the permit. Now that license plate is active in our system, so when the enforcement officer enters that plate number into the handheld device, it actually populates on the handheld device saying, yeah, it's a green button, they have a permit, and here's a credential for that
And
permit.
is there a physical permit or something issued to the purchaser so that
doesn't
they
need-
have evidence of the?
It doesn't need to do that. Like right here, so we cross-reference, like that's a mooring location ID that they have to put in, so we cross-reference with active ones, and we make sure, like, you can't buy something that you don't have access to buy, right, basically. But,
There's no sticker.
Right, a sticker, a tag, or
There's no
something.
physical-
there can be. This is a virtual system, so it's all based off of the license plate.
Mm-hmm.
But in Wells, they had some pushback from citizens who still wanted a decal or a sticker. So what happens is when the application gets approved, the administrative person who approves it reaches into her desk, pulls out a blank decal that has a number on it, and then in the application, they enter that number into that application permit
Gotcha.
acceptance. So the citizen feels comfortable that they've got a sticker on their car. It's not needed, but it's something they're still going to do. Next year, they're going to try to remove fulfilling it because it's a cost that they don't need, but they wanted to make sure that they did it right by the citizens the first year because they've been using decals. I mean, if you go to Wells, you'll look at someone's car and they got like 19 stickers on the side of their car.
Yeah, it's a sign of pride.
So it's not needed, but the one place that I think they have to continue to use it is their transfer station, because there's no way to identify the person coming in that they have access to the transfer station if there's no decal. You could put you could give the person over there access to the system. They could enter the plate number in, but it's just much easier to give them a decal for that type of visual
Mm-hmm. Yes.
inspection. But as far as the the mooring buoys and the boat launches and stuff like that, there's an officer going through the lot, typing in a plate, going, okay, yeah, that guy's good, that guy's good. Oh, he has a permit, but it's not for this facility. He's supposed to be parked over there.
But
So
in
they
either,
can
in either
issue
case,
warnings.
it's there's flexibility, and from the town's end, it could be managed both with a physical decal if
Yep.
that's what's required, or a sticker or whatever,
Mhm.
or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, like in Pensacola, Florida, they have 170 permits, different types of permits. In Charleston, South Carolina, they have a downtown residential and renter permit. So in there, if you go to Charleston really quick, you'll look at their customer experience. So this is their website. It's hosted by us, but it's branded for Park Charleston.
Yep.
If you click on permits, we do a reverse geocode application here. So if you live in the box that Melina's going to click on, if you live in District 4, whatever it may be, you click on that, and then it gives you the permits that are applicable. It's not showing well on the screen. I'm just so, yeah. But it's all geofenced. So they click inside where their address is, and it gives them access to the 2 permits that are available to them. And in Pensacola, because they have so many permits, a drop-down list. So the first question in Pensacola is, what location do you want a permit in? And they go, G Street Garage. Okay, are you a business or an individual? I'm an individual. Is it a day or night permit? It's a night permit. And then it gives them, here's your permit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of systems that are out there is on the permit side. They require you to set up an account and put all your personal information in. And then when you get to buy the permit you want, they're like, yeah, sorry, that one's not available. So we do it we do it where we let you know if it's available. If you select it, then we walk you through
Yep.
the application process. Because you could buy a permit, spend 10 minutes trying to buy one, and then all of a sudden say, yeah, sorry, it's not available.
Yeah. Sure.
Which is not a really good experience.
That's the concert ticket experience.
Yeah, it is. No, or
When a ticket is issued and there's a violation,
mhm.
does the officer leave a ticket, or does the ticket go electronically to the person?
That's a good question.
So every state has its own regulations. I know New Hampshire has a an issue with scanning or LPR technology and flock cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give you a couple different examples based off the jurisdiction that answers that question. In Ocean City, Maryland, they have an inlet lot, and they're allowed to, by ordinance, they're allowed to capture they take a photo when you go into the lot. It takes a picture of your plate and your make and mark. So that comes to me. Then I cross-reference with Park Mobile. They're actually in Ocean City, Maryland as well, and they have the Flowbird meters in that lot. I cross-reference. I do the analytic on my side to find out whether that vehicle has paid or not. If they leave the facility without paying, I get another photo. So it's all timestamped. Then I'll go to the DMV. I'll find registered owner information, it's all public information. It's easy to do. And then we'll send an invoice. They call it an invoice. They send an invoice to the citizen in the mail saying you were here for this period of time, and here's your ticket. Now, in another instance where you're entering the plate manually, a lot of states require you to physically summons the vehicle because it's an ordinance requirement. So in that case, in your case here in New Hampshire with the regulations you have, you would enter the plate number in, you would say issue ticket, you would go through the process of issuing it, you would take some photos to capture the evidence that the citizen, that maybe you take a picture of a meter that's not paid, or they're in a handicap spot and you take a picture of them in a handicap spot and there's no decal on their dashboard, and then they hit print, it prints the citation out, they put the citation on the vehicle, and then after that they take a photo of the citation on the vehicle as evidence that the vehicle's been summoned. It goes to a website. There's a QR code that's printed on the ticket that's dynamic, which means it's not the same QR code. It takes the citizen directly to their record, and they have the entire evidence package of what was captured, and they can do two things. They can pay the citation if they want, or they can appeal it. And if they want to appeal it, it goes through a process, opens a queue for you to actually respond to that appeal, and you can either dismiss it because they have evidence that is supporting their claim, or it's not.
This is some hardware that would need to purchase, printing, ticket printing.
Yeah, so that's the phone. Most people go with a two-piece because it's much easier. This is a Zebra ZQ511 printer. Yep, sorry.
Yeah.
Printer?
It's just my question more is, I'm not really concerned with models or anything. What's it cost?
So we're a bring your own hardware shop. So when we went live in Deerfield Beach, they had an existing vendor. They had purchased the equipment already, and we just loaded all of our applications on their existing hardware, so there was no cost for them. In the event that you don't have any hardware, I think this phone with the case and everything and the charging back is like $700, and this is like, I think $1,800 gets you into that one time.
Full package.
All back about $1,800, and that gives you 3-year warranty and all the services that go behind it. And then you pay a subscription fee for the device to activate to write parking citations, and that's I think $250 or $300 a month depending on the model, and that's it. That's all your costs are. It's very reasonable. It was $300. Yep.
So it's $300 a month for the cost of the service fee,
Mm-hmm.
and then $2,000 to buy the.
1,800. It's like 17 and change, but like just 1,800 to be safe.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what's the cost of your monthly fee? It was based on the number of devices we had, right?
That's the 300,
That's the 300.
and that
Okay.
includes the data plan on the phone.
Okay.
And then when you're off season and maybe you're not writing tickets off season, it goes down to $50, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have to. It's stupid, but the AT&T and Verizon and all the wireless guys, for you to deactivate a SIM card and then reactivate, it's going to cost you way more than just paying the monthly subscription. So, I think to deactivate a SIM card and reactivate it's like $1,000. So $50 keeps it active, and you don't have to pay that fee in the off season.
I envision would be a one setup and.
Yeah, yeah.
we-
Mhm. And then there's a few other charges, but they're all typically, so once that's to issue the citation, and then the processing system that you saw on the website for the citizens to pay, those are all fees that are typically absorbed into the citation. So if you write a $10 ticket, right, it's $1 for us to process that, and if we have to go to the DMV, that's $1.50 for every hit that we get, and then if we have to send a notice out in the mail that they're client, it's $1 per notice plus postage. But what happens is if it's a $10 fee and they don't pay the fine online, then we escalate it, and then it goes to and maybe a $15, which then you include all the services that we provide in the cost of that escalation. So technically, the person who's getting the parking citation covers all the other fees that are included in that. So there's really no out-of-pocket costs except for the hardware and the monthly subscription for the device.
So what happens, what's the procedure if somebody just doesn't pay a scofflaw? Does that fall to our police department, or do you have a system in place? What happens?
So we manage all the escalation and scofflaw requirements. So if you've got a repeat offender, which if we go into Charleston, I can show you people who've got hundreds of tickets. So what'll happen is, depending on your business rules, maybe after 3 citations, they're boot eligible or tow eligible or whatever it may be. Or maybe you want to send it to a secondary collections where you can assign that debt to somebody else, and we can do DMV holds. We can hold the registration at the DMV while they don't pay the ticket. Or in California, we're allowed to do what's called FTB interface, which is franchise tax board. So when you file your taxes, the parking debts get paid to the city in your tax return. So there's ways to, depending on your rules and regulations, there's ways to navigate that. But we give the officer all the information when they enter that plate in manually to say, oh, this guy has had 3 tickets. This is the 4th one. Now it's escalated to this. And then here's the rule that is assigned by the town to decide how you want to handle that situation. Did that answer your question?
Mhm.
Okay. So over the counter, correct. So you can walk in. So it's funny, in Charleston specifically, if you live downtown and you want to appeal or pay a ticket, you have to walk in. They require you to walk in. So they walk into the office, they go up to the booth, they hand them the ticket, or they give them their license plate number. They enter in, the clerk on the other side enters the field in, says it's $18. They take their card, they tap it, and citation's paid. Correct. Yeah. And if you want to take a check or a cash payment, you can do that. You just select the payment method. You select over the counter, credit card, cash, or check. And then we also do payment plans. If they're really in a situation where they want to do a payment plan, we have a payment plan option that they can click on payments, they can enter their card information, then they'll charge them monthly for whatever that payment plan may be.
Can we go back to the map view and just to see? I'm just interested in let's say we wanted to.
I wish that screen was.
We wanted to implement a way for people to select the parking lot that they want to buy a permit for.
Sure.
Right, and maybe there's a map view, maybe there's a list view, and does it show you how many spaces are available? If there's a space available, can spaces be numbered, and or is it usually a batch that you select from, or that you get assigned to a spot? How does that work, or how could it work? I mean, obviously it's probably customizable,
Sure.
I would
That's
imagine.
100%.
But I'd just be interested to see how that might process.
Yeah, it's really not showing well, but the thing about and you asked the question.
We're so small.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you asked a question earlier about, can we tell people that there's a space available for them to park?
Yeah.
You need to have a sensor or some type of activation technology in that space to identify whether it's occupied or not. So we do integrate with sensor companies. So you would literally need to put a sensor in a space and know that there's no payment for that space for that actually to work properly.
Yeah.
Or use a camera. And I know unlikely there's going to be cameras in the state of New Hampshire. So
So you don't just use accounting methods. So let's say,
right.
The lot on Bay Road has 15 spaces,
Mhm.
and in your software that 12 of them are taken.
Sure.
So can the user see, I'm downtown, no spaces downtown, what's the next closest lot? There's a lot on Bay Road. Oh, there are 3 spaces available, or 3 have not been sold.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that ability to do that?
Yeah, so assuming, let's say it's a 50 space lot, and you want to give out of those 50 spaces, you want 30 permits in that space, and then in that lot. So it's a waiting list application. So we would sell up to 30 permits, and then once the 30 permit's gone, then it comes off and the citizen can go on a waiting list. So when someone doesn't renew their permit, then they get notified that, hey, the space permit now is available. Or we can tell them, yeah, there's 3 left in that area. So we manage that. And it's called a wait list permit management system, but we do it that way.
So I'm asking about a more of a dynamic situation. So let's take the lot with 50 spaces in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the town says, okay, 30 of those we're going to give to permits.
Correct.
For residents. So then there are 20 spaces that are just come as you are, if you
Like transient parking. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
So if the lot is not visible from downtown, which our satellite lots are not, and somebody comes into town and is looking for a spot in the district and there's no spots available, can they go to your app and see that, okay, there are 20 spots? Am I making this clear to everybody?
No.
So of those 20 spots, let's say 10 people have already paid for spots. Can they see on the app that there are 10 spots that have not been paid for? In other words, they would be open?
Yeah, we can manage that, but that's only if someone actually applies for a permit and or pays Park Mobile to pay, and assuming that no one's there without paying, because we can't, unless you have a detector
Right.
in the space, you don't know exactly, so you're just doing an algorithm. Like, it might be accurate, but it might not, because let's just say you've got 20 permit spaces and then 10 transient parkers, and maybe 5 of those transient parkers decide not to pay, but I think that there's still 10 spaces available.
Right.
So I'm sending a citizen to go try to park somewhere where there's not spots available because, they haven't been enforced yet. So it's an algorithm. Yes, the answer is yes, but it's only as good as the information that we get to actually give you
Right.
the answer to that question.
So do any towns do it that way, or do they say that this is just too inaccurate?
So
So
I'm not going to speak ill of the sensor business, but there's not a lot of really solid technology out there that's reliable enough to give you the information you need unless you have a fixed camera in that facility. You really need to be able to manage the traffic flow. So in Leavenworth, Washington, which is I don't know if you've ever been to Leavenworth, it's a cool town. It was a logging town. The town was going out of business, so they rebranded the entire town as a German beer fest town. So you go into, you feel like you're in Germany, for sure, during Oktoberfest. They have surface lots like that. They have cameras that are in there, and when the vehicle comes in, the camera company does an algorithm and says, okay, there's 20 cars in this space, and we've only got 10 payments, so send over an enforcement officer to write tickets and or publish the spaces available to the citizens that are coming in. Because when you go into Leavenworth, there's only 2 ways in, or only one way in and one way out. There's only 2 directions, and then you're right in the downtown. So as people are coming into Leavenworth, they're actually displaying the available spaces and what lots those spaces are available because they have those cameras in the application. I'm done. Yep. So it's like, welcome to Leavenworth. Lot A has 10 spaces,
Yeah.
Lot B has 50 spaces, and the free lot that's out of town that you can take a shuttle in has 200 spaces. And then citizens have the information to make decisions on where they want to park. But that changes as soon as they drive by that sign. That changes instantly, like that, because you get so much traffic in that town. They have, I think when they ran their election, I think the mayor who won had 501 votes, right? And the mayor who lost had 500 votes. There's not a lot of people in Leavenworth, but they have 3 million visitors a year. So the parking dynamic there is really, really heavy, and that's what they do to mitigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because without some type of detecting technology, you're only going to get information on people who have actually got a valid permit or who have paid to park. All the other ones we don't know about, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're asking. I think we're talking about something very downtown with the launch. The permitting side of what would be
Right.
I think the question you're asking is more
I see. Okay.
Tran, well, we call it, we call it transient parking. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that would be really opportunity. We see it, we don't have to
Okay. It'll show you the lots,
Yeah,
but it
and their
won't do the
availability.
math. It won't say, if there are 10 spots, we have people paid for 5, there's potentially 5 spaces.
I would use the word
It won't do
potentially.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
Right.
that's the operating
That's,
word right
that's
there.
the word.
Yeah, that's the word you would say, hey,
Unless
maybe
you-
go over here because we feel there's a better chance that there's a space here than there is downtown. Like if you have, if your zones are set up for on-street parking downtown and there's like 50 spaces and there's 55 transactions, there's a pretty good chance there's nothing there, right? And Park Mobile can redirect them to another facility where they know that the algorithm math is different.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to get into putting space sensors in your,
No, and that's what I was wondering, like, can we, I mean, it's inaccurate, and it would probably end up causing frustration if we were to say, okay, there are 10 potential spaces in that lot. 7 people have come and paid for them.
Mhm.
Potentially there are 3 spaces
Mhm.
left. And we send somebody there saying that there are possibly
And
3
there's nothing there.
spaces and there's nothing there. It's going to just be frustrating for people.
yeah.
It
So
might just backfire.
like in that scenario, like let's say there was 100 spaces in that lot, what I would recommend you do is when you get to like 85 payments, then you just say there's no spaces, or you don't even publish that there might be something there. So now you're not sending a citizen to a spot where they're looking for something where they're not going to get it. So you can, like when it's below a certain percent of occupancy, then you let them know, and then when it gets to a higher percentage of occupancy, then you just eliminate the message, something like that. Yeah. So you're not sending people to go somewhere where there's definitely not parking.
Clearly, there'd be no problem with having different price structures for different.
Yeah, that's easy. It's all we set everything up based off your business rules. Yeah, there's no limitation on
So
that.
I heard you and saw that you customize for the town. So you're going to whatever town of Newmarket and you're buying a permit. I see that. Does Park Mobile offer a kind of a branding, a town branding to the signs that are up? Yes. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we are looking for really is to manage the for empty spaces downtown, so that you're more likely to find a spot rather than go looking, drive around on those days when it's really really busy. So are you familiar with managing for availability? Do you through maybe dynamic pricing or something like that, or is that something that we would have to kind of figure out on our own? No, what I was looking for is basically
Your on-street parking
it-
assets should
yes.
be more expensive than your off-street parking assets.
Yes.
If you do that, then you're creating a behavior where the citizen knows, hey, if I park on street for 3 hours, it's $10, or if I park in that lot that's back in that corner, it's $1.50.
And that pricing can be customized based on the day, time of
Yes.
day.
Year, month,
Yeah.
all that
Okay.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's all free. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have like
So you can also, let's say you have a zone on a particular street and you would like to make that zone free during a certain time period or on a certain day. You can
Sure.
easily do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can almost assure you, when you start charging for parking, I'm not 100% confident in a lot of things, but I can guarantee you that the parking spaces that are being used downtown are being used by employees and, you know, like people who work in that area. And if you want to, a lot of cities like Sedona, what they did is they said, okay, employees and anyone who owns a restaurant downtown, offer them discounted rates at a facility that's off the beaten path to leave those spaces open for people who are coming into, you know, to spend time here. So in Sedona, it's a really big problem. And, you know, the employees show up first thing in the morning, they take the spot right out front of the restaurant that they want someone who's driving into town to buy a burger to park in, and they can't find parking, and then they leave. So you are going to be able to manage the behavior of the residents and the workers and stuff by offering them benefits, alternatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind when you do that. And a lot of cities, they do it like kind of backwards. Like if you go to Charleston, they're still trying to change the ordinance, but you can literally park downtown. If you pay at a parking meter downtown Charleston, it'll cost you $20 to park there all day on street.
Cumulatively, if
Yeah.
you were to.
Yeah, if you leave your
Yeah.
car there and you pay and you follow
Yeah.
the pricing regulations, or it's $15 for a ticket. So people just park and walk away, and they save $5.
Oh.
So create your behavior, right?
Now, is that so? Obviously, you have experience throughout the country. Is there a manual or something like that that you've developed that, you know, gives some pointers, some hints, you know,
So
here's
ca-
some strategies that you might want to?
If I understand what you're saying, do you have any case studies
Yes, case studies, for example.
or observations that you've seen municipalities, you know, execute well? You'll create that behavior change, and maybe some municipalities that not so much. Case in point, Charleston. So, I think any of that information would be helpful for us, you know, if we were to move forward with you all.
Yep.
On understanding, you know, what we should be thinking about. In
Yeah, I
this.
think we have a lot of clients who are similar size and scope to what you're doing, and you know, you're doing something. It's one thing to like change the parking technology, like change the way that maybe one day you're with you have Flowbird meters, and then you decide to go with I don't know, McKay, or you're with Park Mobile and you want to add another payment application, right? So you're not charging for parking now. So now's the time to get it right. And yeah, and the behavior,
No
I mean, you want to charge
No.
enough to have 20% availability, but you don't want to charge too much to stop people from coming. So we do have access to consultants and case studies and all the things that you can do. And I can find out one that's kind of on the East Coast that may be of similar size or scope, and get that information to you, no problem. But yeah, you got to set your rates right, and you got to, you have to manage that message to the locals so that the behaviors.
That's the other thing, rollout.
Mhm.
Any observations that you have on successful rollouts? So, you know, this is going to be a big change for town, if, you know, council moving forward. So,
Mhm.
what is that communication strategy? So, did you see effective communication strategies, you know, in different municipalities instead of saying that?
Yeah, that's more. I mean, Park Mobile's got a very deep bench when it comes to helping people do that. The interface with your citizens will be more on the Park Mobile side than it will be on my side, because I'm just providing you a tool to keep the compliance regulations in line. Most people don't wake up in the morning, hey, I want to get a parking ticket today, right? That's not their event
Unless
for the
you
day.
live in Charleston.
Unless you live in Charleston. That's actually a very good point.
I think the word's out now.
Yeah.
I'm going to
But,
Charleston. Free, cheap
yeah.
parking.
But yeah, so we have a deep bench when it comes to that stuff. We've all been doing this a very long time, and we can give you some direction on how to get there. I guarantee you that all the markets around you are doing it today, what you're about to do. So I would encourage you to talk to the local markets around you, and talk to the clients that we do business with every day. So we can hook you up with those people, no problem. Yep. Yep.
Speaking of locals, do we know Park Mobile? Are you What local towns are you in, adjacent towns?
You're in Wells? Yeah, you're in Wells as well? You're in Wells, Maine? Yep.
Are you in Boston? Okay. Okay.
You're technically back into Boston. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We lost Boston, now we're
Yeah.
back in Boston.
Can you speak to your payment system? How do you make your money on the
A parking customer would pull into a spot, sign up for their parking session, and we can collect the fees from them. So it would be your parking fee, our transaction fee, and then the credit card processing fees. So that is all collected from your parking customer, and then we can give you a monthly check to the account that you choose. We keep ours, and then we handle everything with the credit card company, which makes, takes the burden off of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we handle, audits or anything that might come
And
up.
these fees are dynamic and are a percentage of the parking fee, or are they?
The credit card company?
No, your
Ours, it's
your
a set rate.
set rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and same with the credit card company.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Can you describe the PC1 data? So you mentioned that you're trying to get to that level.
We are at that level.
You are at that level. Okay,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
just-
It's
can you-
just the highest level that you can achieve for data security. It's what the credit cards
Data security.
achieve, yes.
It just-
PCI compliant.
PCI. Do you know what the PCI? Sorry, I don't know what it means. So it's
Actually,
okay. Payment card. Okay. Gotcha.
and I don't know details about it, but I can get it to you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, can you do the mic so folks?
When you do over 1 million transactions a year, it's your level 1.
Gotcha.
And you have to go through a regulation requirement,
Okay.
scans, penetration scans, hacking scans, all the things that
So this is a regulatory.
it's a regulatory thing. Yeah, and it's a annual renewal. Yeah, and we're actually PCI compliant. We do millions of transactions a year too. So we're level 1, and it's literally when your IT asks for the documentation that supports our eligibility, we've got a little booklet you can just hand IT, and they're like, okay, everything's here. But we're self-host, so we host everything. So there's no infrastructure, IT costs requirements on the city side to deal with any of our technology or park modes.
So on that note, you talk about putting in information, everything to operate the everything work well. Is that data retention? Can you talk about data retention?
So we have unlimited data retention. So we'll store photos, citation information, registered owner information, secure. So we're NLETS certified. The National Enforcement, I forget what NLET stands for on the top of my head. There you go. So we're there we go. Those are the experts. And so we go through a certification process with NLETS that allows us to acquire registered owner information and store it efficiently on our database. Yeah, and so we're compliant in all those functions. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Any member of the public who wishes to ask a question, and feel free to.
Does it?
Yeah, you
Where
can
most
feel free to use the handheld. They're better, actually.
Hi, I'm Robin Wesley, 55 Ghana Drive. I'm here under a couple of different scenarios. One is as a citizen,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess my largest concern is always the tax implications. And I do hope there was a lot of talk about fees and fines, but I hope this is going in place more for having the citizens to pay for parking downtown, and most of the revenue generated from such.
Yes.
It's just a more positive side of things. And I guess I'd ask, I don't know if it's the council or the officers, do we have one part-time ticketing person on the police force? And by putting this in, we aren't looking to spend any more money with more parking enforcement officers, are we? I just hope we take into consideration additional cost associated that's going to offset the revenue that does come in. And I guess the other side I'm looking at is from the Newmarket Food Pantry, which I volunteer at, and we're always challenged to find parking for the volunteers there and rely heavily on that Water Street parking lot area. And I don't have a solution, but I am asking that, you know, the Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, Wednesday morning and all day Thursday, if there's anything you can do in finding whatever version of software you use that kind of helps us get through and keep volunteers coming in for the food pantry for our citizens, we would appreciate that.
Absolutely. And just so you know, that topic has been at issue in our work group, and I think we'll figure out a good solution that works for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, that's pretty much the area, and Sunday too for church. Can we?
Absolutely.
We'd appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate that.
Some of the same questions. I guess my first question is, what's the driving force behind this? Are we trying to manage parkers? Are we trying to generate income for the town? Because I guess I'd like to see a really thorough return on investment analysis. And it sounds like infrastructure that has to be put in, payments to the companies here who have been presenting the potential of having to add additional parking monitoring, and then the costs to the church and the social programs. Where all is it going to be? Is it going to discourage people from using the public library? Is it going to irritate people who would otherwise be dining in our downtown, which is mostly a dining facility? And I can see, like you said, if the system gets frustrating, I don't need to dine out tonight. And then you've got your businesses downtown losing business. And so to me, that's part of the cost of doing the business. So I would like to, at some point, see a thorough analysis of all of that. And what does it do? I'm on the Riverfront Advisory Committee. We're trying to encourage people to come in. The people who come in from out of town, they go, oh, I don't have that app on my phone. I don't need to see Newmarket. And they're gone. They don't eat in our restaurants. They don't take the kids to our parks. They're just not here. And as a more senior member of the community, how many people do not have smartphones, so they can't access that hardware, they can't access the software, and they just say, I can't park here anymore. I don't have the equipment, and I can't afford to get that, or the people who don't even have credit cards. When you walk into a public library, up here and you see how many people are using a public computer system, how many people, obviously, if they had a smartphone, they'd be doing it on a smartphone instead of on the public library. So it was really driving people away from downtown and the businesses. And it doesn't sound like you've got that cost analysis ready at this point, but.
No, so in quick answer to your question, so the primary objective is to get better at managing the parking resources that we have in town. You've been in town long enough, you know that it's a common complaint every year. There is not enough parking. I can't find a parking spot. You know, all the on-street parking is full. I can't find parking. So that's our objective. It's trying to figure out what resources, what strategies are out there that we can utilize to better use the resources, the lots, the spots that we have throughout town. So that's one major objective here. And then as far as the your other questions around the cost-benefit analysis, of course, that's why we're here. So the objective for us as a committee is to, or the charge to us as a committee is to develop a report to the town council that basically presents exactly that. Here are the benefits. Here's some of the drawbacks. Here's a recommendation if we come up with one, if we can agree on one. Here's a recommendation that we have as to how we might move forward. So this is an exploration, and this is exactly that. It's trying to make sure that we are going into and adopt strategies open-eyed and know what we're signing up for. But the main objective is to manage what we have better and more effectively, and to allow for the police department to actually be able to do their job in an effective and efficient manner as well. Because that is, we're doing things, I have learned, in a very old-fashioned way that is not always as effective as it might be. For example, if you have a part-time enforcement officer that only works certain hours, what happens during the hours that the person doesn't work? Well, then, parking is essentially not enforced. We have a 2-hour limit, but that 2-hour limit is, not always enforced. So it's not a fair process right now. And I think what we're hopefully going to get to is something that's fair for everyone. And yes, those concerns that you have around, how do you pay for this? And what if you don't have a smartphone? What if you don't have, the ability, or you can't see it very well? Whatever the issue might be. I mean, obviously, you can only accommodate so much. But those are all questions that we have too, and we want to make sure that more people can come to Newmarket. We want to. I mean, our objective here as a committee is exactly that. We want people to be here and feel comfortable. And I think, as far as the apps and downloading apps, I think considering that Park Mobile is already in many surrounding communities, chances are half the people in town already have this app on their phone, anyways. Those that have it. So that may be. Yeah, I know exactly. But so that may be an incentive. But it's just so in kind of in to sum this up, what we're doing is really that, or trying to do is that, cost benefit analysis, if you will. I don't want to call it that. It's a report that will come up with some recommendations to the town council.
The reason I ask is I've walked the younger generation right now and say, yeah, I get my 55 cents, now 83 cents, I think, fitness program by walking to the post office. So I walk the main street.
Yeah.
The times that I see that we have problems with congested parking are during the Friday and Saturday night dinner hours.
Absolutely.
And Saturday morning brunch. And if we're going to all this expense and bother to ease up parking for Friday and Saturday night and for Saturday morning for brunch, I'm wondering, that's where I want the cost benefit analysis, because I see there are spaces on the street parking except at those times. The rest of the time,
absolutely,
there are spaces available. Is it worth all the bother and the irritation to the community? The taxpayers are saying, I pay taxes to have those cleared. And we know that people are not parking there during the winter when the snow plows go through. We understand about the snow removal. So we know it's not a matter of that those cars can be towed if somebody's violating during the snowy season. So I would like to see a really thorough breakdown of this, and I'll be looking forward to that report. And I'll plan to attend that meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? Any other discussion on?
I think we've got an idea of the costs from Park Loyalty, but on the Park Mobile and Flowbird, what are the costs to the community, or are there not? Yes, upfront costs and monthly costs. No. Okay. Yes. Right, and the convenience fee is that on a sliding scale, or is that just set 10% or something of that sort?
Can you give us an example of a, let's say, I'm in whatever some zone, and the parking per hour is $2. What goes where? How does that break down? For just, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
So if you're
Just
parking
one
for,
an hour. Yeah, I'm paying for an hour.
okay, so it's $2
Mhm.
plus the 40 cents that we would charge, and the $2 is going to go back to you. That's your
Yeah.
revenue for parking, and then there's a 20 cents plus 3% for any credit card transaction.
So the actual cost would be $2.50, something
Right.
like that. Yeah. And that would be the charge to the
Parking customer.
parking customer.
Right.
Now, do they? So that is not. That's not broken down on the.
It is.
It is broken down on
It's
the
visible.
ticket. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Very transparent.
Do you have any other?
No, I think that seems reasonable. I'm always worried about service fees and being
Yeah.
one that I used to sell tickets and
Yeah.
dealt
Yeah.
with to concerts and things of that sort. People would got pretty upset about the service fees. As a matter of fact, laws were changed because of that.
Mm.
So it's important. People do get upset sometimes about service fees, and it needs to be reasonable. That sounds reasonable.
And the kiosks, and let's say I'm paying cash, is that how are any fees, your fees accounted for? in
Our
that?
fee would remain, so you'd have the transaction fee, but there would be no credit card transaction
Right.
fee. So
Okay.
that would just, when it tallies, that would not be included.
And how does, I mean, we would want to have an opportunity for people to pay cash, I think, let's say. How do you figure out how many kiosks you might need for, like one per block?
It's usually one per,
As you said, strategic location, but
exactly.
yeah,
Or I know by me, I live near Plymouth, Massachusetts. They have a giant lot and there's one kiosk in there.
Mhm.
So you go to the kiosk, you enter your plate, and you go back and you're paid for parking. And then it will give you a text message to say, where are you and
So
where you are in the parking session.
you would provide the kiosks for free?
Oh, no, it's a purchase.
Okay, so there is a cost.
For a kiosk. Yeah,
For a
that's
kiosk.
separate from the app.
So what would a kiosk cost?
It depends on what you add. So adding the monetary part is an additional piece.
The
It
cash-
depends
the
on
cash
how
piece.
many. It's about 7,500, 8,000.
Per unit,
Mm-hmm.
roughly 8,000 per unit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very low
The
maintenance.
thing that I think in our particular town is it's a bit of a struggle because we're talking about primarily doing this for the on-street, and we've got very short blocks. And there'd be some expectation of one per block. There's four cars in a block. you know?
One consideration is to start with an app, and
App
then
only, yeah.
if you see the need for the kiosk, you could
Right.
add that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference in the kiosk versus
Citizens charge a convenience fee on top of the parking fee, and the kiosk they're not charged a convenience fee. So they could,
Yeah.
if they choose not to use the application, the app, then they could walk down the street and punch their plate number in and pay at a kiosk with no additional fee. I had a bit of a bulb go off my head when you were talking about other cities. Camden, Maine, which is only a couple 3 hours away, they launched a paid parking program last season for a couple weeks, and now they're launching it again. They had a residential concern. So in that environment, they use our permit portal and they use Park Mobile and they have Flowbird kiosks. They'd be a really good person to talk to. What they did for their residents was, if you apply for a residential permit and you get approved because you've fit all the criteria, your address, and you get approved as a residential permit, there's no fee. What that does is that when the resident goes to pay to park, there is a different rate structure available at the kiosk than if you're a non-resident.
I think most people who park downtown are residents, 80,
Right.
90% in our town.
Sure. So
are
there's a way
residents, so-
there's a way to handle a different fee structure for residents versus non-residents is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So there's a way to do that. And the other thing I didn't mention to you, I mean, it's actually in the name on the shirt on my chest, which is loyalty, park loyalty. We actually have a loyalty program for local merchants, and we have and citizens. So if you come into town and you use their application, you can request information about local restaurants. We can advertise to the people who are parking. If they want to find a pizza parlor and they don't know where they're going, we can give you a tool that allows you to advertise publicly if they accept the advertisement through the payment application. So we actually have a loyalty program as well.
I think our
Just
trouble
wanted to
almost
let you know.
always is the economy of scale.
Mhm.
Our town is so small to do much of anything. When going through that return on investment, $8,000 for one kiosk. I just don't see a return on investment. It's just
Sure.
our town. Really, we're talking about 3 blocks of downtown parking.
Mhm.
100 public parking spots total.
Mhm.
Isn't that what it was? Was it 100? Yeah, roughly, in the whole town.
Sure, I get it.
Counting all the way
That makes
way
sense.
and that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and that's the struggle.
4 to 6 weeks to get it. I would say towards 6 because, yeah. Yeah. There is a fee if you want us to build like this cement pad. Yeah, no, most people just, they do. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
All right. That spurred something. That was good. Got something else?
No, I just know that it's a big step for the community.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's just going to be important that if we do it, we roll it out as a trial basis.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows that in a year it's going to be reevaluated, and that'll take the edge off of, those who are very concerned that it's a trial basis. If it works, it works. It's great. We've got some income. Parking shouldn't really be free. It costs us money to maintain. But, again, it's that economy of scale.
Yep, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Be able to adjust and see how people interact with that adjustment.
Yep.
So again, so this is the other aspect of the ordinance. We want to make sure that we're able to utilize this technology with that fee structure.
Yeah, rather than reserving spots, it seems like we could just do something in the software. The first hour is free, second hour is this, third hour. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but, I just never want to have this spot is for 15-minute parking. It'll be just tough. It's consistent throughout town.
Mm-hmm.
But I think is important. We have something easy for the people who want to run in, grab a coffee, and run out, from
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crack Skulls.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree with that too.
Yeah, it allows the community adjustments.
Are we ready to just have, I just
Yeah.
don't want people to have to stay. So, thank you so much for
Thanks for coming.
for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. We'll probably get back with you with additional questions if that's, or maybe not, but I think it's likely. And I think just for everyone else, I think part of our process will be reaching out to neighboring communities and having conversations with people there, learning from their experience and those kinds of things, so we can include that in the report as well. And we'll make sure that the food pantry needs are considered for sure. You're welcome. Oh, great. Great. That would be helpful. Yes. Yes. I did come across that already. Yeah. Yeah. Seems to be like the one that everybody kind of refers to. Thank you. And sorry for the little glitch there.
Yeah, if you have,
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, Brad. All right, so, you I think the conversation that we should probably have before long is how we want to, what we want to include in the report, and where we're going to find those that information, because an outline. Yeah. And then bring it back here.
Yeah, that'll help. We're having other vendors come or no? Yeah, 'cause it'll
We're hoping to
guide the
have
questions.
maybe a conversation somehow with folks from Rochester, because they're just very fresh in this
Yeah.
conversation, and then we can see who else we might be able to get information from, so that we can learn from other communities, especially around rollout and communication and and trial periods and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think the question was answered, but can you guys just refresh my memory? If the town decides, we get it all set up, and the town decides we're going to have, Shad Fest or some kind of festival in town,
Yeah.
and we want parking to be free on the first Friday of the month. Thank you. We have the ability. The town will have the ability to go in and shut everything down.
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes.
we don't have to
Yes.
interface with them and have
No.
somebody do it for us.
Right.
The town has that.
Yes.
ability.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's very dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's wonderful.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Good
much.
to meet you. Bye.
Thank you. And I think in some ways it's also managing, being able to manage permits, in a more effective way, and making it more attractive and easy for people to obtain longer term permits, whether that's a monthly kind of thing, and what kind of permits might make sense.
Well, right now, it's difficult to obtain a permit just because people have to go to the police
Right.
department. That's somebody's they're breaking their concentration to issue a permit. This is going to be, I can take it from my smartphone, see there's
Yeah.
available permit in, Water Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo, I want it. Oh,
Exactly.
I'm on a wait list. Great.
Exactly.
So it's going to save the police department, I think, some labor, which I think is, and just the
Yeah.
convenience to the public,
Yeah.
which I think we can definitely improve on our permit structure within town. And this will lend itself to us improving.
Yeah. In my mind, this has to go hand in hand with our signage and wayfinding approach, because having clearly identified lots, knowing that you're in the right lot,
Yeah.
you're not in the wrong spot or something like that. That's all going to be really important there. Is there anything that you guys would like to add? Use the mic. Sorry.
Rules by now. I do
Give that man a
think
ticket.
it sounded very customizable.
Yeah.
I like the idea of maybe being a trial thing because we don't want to do something that's not working. We certainly don't want to make it worse.
Right.
But I also think that there's an opportunity, as we've discussed, to try and improve on that down there, which is our main goal. And there's some other benefits that may come with that. But I do like the idea of it being customizable and the idea that we want to see if it's going to work and go from there, because it's important for people to understand that if we recognize that this doesn't work, that we be flexible enough to adapt to that as well. So,
Absolutely.
but I think there's a lot of valid questions. She had some valid questions as well, like is this worth it to us?
Yes, absolutely.
And we brought up the thing about the parking enforcement. Currently, I don't necessarily have a plan to add a parking enforcement officer, but as we've discussed previously, if you don't have that enforcement component, then you might as well not have the other component either, because as soon as they learn that it's not going to be enforced, then often the rules are out the window, and so we would have to make sure that we take a look at that and see if it's worth it to add additional personnel. There is no plan at this point, but I haven't. This is like grant season, so we're looking at a lot of different things. I haven't seen any like that, but I also haven't been looking for that particular thing. But I certainly could start looking around to see if there's some opportunity there.
What do you mean by kind of? Oh.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I know sometimes with other enforcement grants that helps enforcement.
Yeah, there definitely are. Like we had one today that was a distracted driving grant, which put an officer out there. We get extra monies to put an officer out there to focus on traffic and people driving with their phones in their hand.
Funded by insurance companies or?
Funded by the National Traffic Safety Administration.
Oh, okay.
No, I agree, but I'm just talking generally about grant. We'll have a bunch of those. We'll have pedestrian and bicycle grants as the spring goes on. There's always opportunities every year to, grants to add additional police officers where they'll pay a certain amount of the salary for a certain amount of years, things like that. I haven't looked for the parking thing, but I could certainly look around. But I've never seen one of those come across my desk. Right.
That's why I really believe we should have a parking enterprise fund, where all of the parking revenue goes into one pool, and now you draw your salaries from parking enforcement out of it, takes it out of the general fund, and all of a sudden, there's a lot less argument. It's not raise my taxes, I don't care, type of thing. Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of communities do have those parking enterprise funds. And then if we need more enforcement, we need more enforcement, because, we look at it, one of our biggest problems with parking availability, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Well, our parking cuts off, the 2-hour limit right now cuts off at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
So, 7 o'clock's when we can't find a parking spot. So maybe we might need somebody to work until 8 o'clock and expand this charge
we
structure.
would have to, as we spoke overhaul the ordinance to represent those hours as well. Because essentially, if you park at 4 o'clock, then you're good because it's gonna
Right,
be 2
exactly.
hours, right?
Oh, geez, we're on TV.
And again,
You're giving away all the secrets.
yeah,
Mike.
okay, that's not a secret. I think part of the other thing here, in the lieutenant here and I discussed this a little bit previously. When you go to a structure like this, like a paid parking, a lot of the revenues are not from the actual ticketing. It's
Right.
the majority comes from the people that are just abiding by the rules and,
Yeah.
and going along with
Absolutely.
it. But you do have to have the enforcement component just to kind of
Make it
keep
work.
Yeah.
keep everybody
Yeah.
working.
Keep it fair.
But again, I don't think we initially that was our main goal. Our main goal was to manage this parking issue and see if we could improve it. And it's just ideas to work towards that.
Right. Right.
Because if it isn't true, then you have to make significant investment in community.
Yep.
So if we can avoid that and just manage our resources, our facilities much more efficiently, then I think that's a huge savings.
Yep.
Uh,
So this helps us answer that question.
Yep.
And Mike, Chief Jordan said this, test it for a year. Doesn't work, doesn't work. And at least we'll have more data to understand, is there adequate enough facilities in town?
And I think each one of them talked about it being a month-to-month thing. So I know there was some concern. What's our
It's not a
sign
long-term.
on? What's our contract?
Yeah.
And it sounded month-to-month. So that's a benefit because if we figure out, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right. So if we find out it works or it doesn't work, we can figure the next steps from there.
I think using the app for the permits, particularly with the residents seem a little frustrated or confused from what I've heard by, there's no parking for, so many rentals don't have parking.
But their
Here in town.
residents, most of the people parking downtown live in town, so
Right,
we
but-
can't really
but-
give it away.
What I'm saying is if they have an app and they can say, oh, I can park my car right down on Dame Road,
Yeah,
for certain amounts,
Yeah.
not a lot of money.
I
you
do
know.
think there's a lot of convenience to the way they discuss the app process.
Yeah.
And right now it is very old and archaic the way that we do it. And there's only certain hours that you can get it. You got to figure out if there is one. And this, waiting list or, figuring out if an permit is available and being able to get it would seem to be very helpful. I know it would be helpful for us.
Yeah.
And it would take away a lot of us having to stop what we're doing and go through that process with somebody and figure out where they live, where they're going to park. But if these zones are posted and they can go on an app and say, okay, I can buy a parking permit for here,
Yeah.
that kind of takes us right out of it.
And they can do it at 2 a.m,
Yes.
and they can know they're not trying to cobble something together.
Yeah.
They know they have a
Right,
plan.
especially, we have a real problem with visitors, and you can't buy a one-night pass at 8 o'clock at night.
Well, you can.
Oh, can you?
You can at the dispatch center. So
Oh,
we
you can do it through
that.
dispatch.
We
I
do
didn't
do
know
that.
that.
And you'd be surprised
So, yeah.
how
Yeah.
many people come in late at
Okay.
night, especially in the
I
winter.
just direct people to this back lot.
Yeah, well, I would say this: a lot of people come in at night, or they'll call us and we'll say, "Well, you can come down, you
Yeah.
can get a one-night or two-night pass or whatever." So that does happen more often than you think. I mean, it just happened.
Yeah, I
this
guess
week,
people just,
so.
I didn't know it, so.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
they're coming out in the middle of the night to come to the police station. So if
Right.
they could do something like that online, I think it would save them the hassle and be very useful.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up is if people that are enforcing that and monitoring it the technology seems to be there to say, oh, that car's got a permit, this one doesn't, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a convenience factor, and I think there's also a, using people's time efficiently and effectively kind of perspective that, we can take, so your concentration is not broken, or you're not doing a task that, at late at night you have other pressing needs, and now.
Yeah.
But you want to do well by the person, looking for a ticket, so for a parking pass. So
yeah,
I think
you want to reward people that are trying to do the right
Yeah,
thing too.
exactly.
And just an example is like we had a major incident going on the other night, and a couple of people came in to try and get a parking pass, and we're like, hey, listen, we don't have time for that right now because it's a nighttime dispatcher that's doing that. So that convenience of the people doing the right thing, So, but I just I think it is one of the components of it.
Yeah.
See if they can track if it changes the business patterns, if they make requisites to do that. Because if somebody said, oh, do takeout for the DoorDash restaurant, I have to charge another $2. So takeout and DoorDash or whatever. And somebody talking to the landlord and saying, hey, it's ridiculous. Maybe the cheapest apartment in town to rent because we're in this building. But we need to have you make some provision for parking for the businesses and the other residents of this town who are also tax status.
Yeah.
And they use the parking. Are those conversations happening with the
Well,
businesses?
I'm pretty in touch with the landlords and with the businesses. And I'll say, since we hired a parking enforcement officer, the tenants have essentially stopped parking on Main Street. It's haphazard the way that they've been set up. You don't know when they're going to work, and hats off to them because they work in the rain and the snow, and people thought they wouldn't, and sure enough, they do. And so that's worked. What's happened is people have found more bandit spots that are privately owned because those aren't enforced nearly as well. So that I won't even mention some of the places that are going on, but people in town know where they can park for free. Unfortunately, some people have towed too. And for first offense, they've towed somebody. That's kind of a rough thing. That in a private lot. It was a private lot. They weren't even all the way on that person's property. Just like a quarter of the car was on their property. They towed for the first offense, which is tough for a young kid who the businesses, they're in and out. And again, since we have parking enforcement, we used to have business owners who parked all day long in front of somebody else's business. And since we have parking enforcement, we have some businesses will unload and load, but they do scoot their car to, usually Kennybunk Savings. I actually think we're going to have a worse problem once Kennybunk Savings reopens. And that's 20 spots right there. Yeah. Yeah.
And the inmate is sitting there at the central line when the parking is back on it.
Well,
So there one of the goals I think is to provide more information too. I think that one of the pieces that I find attractive about a website that you can go to obtain a permit is you can find out about opportunities and places to park that you had no clue about.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could park here in this lot. I didn't know this was available. I didn't know those were public spots. So there is a communication piece too, I think, that we're right now missing out on a little bit, and hopefully that will, bring some people into I can buy a permit for this, and I can be, legal. I don't have to find a spot to park somewhere around the corner in some kind of more precarious situation. So I think I really like the idea of a trial as well. That I'm pretty sure that's going to be part of the recommendation, because we want to, and we will need to spend, I think, real attention to how this is playing out, and so we can tweak it as we go along and learn from mistakes. And so what kind of data to collect and what to make sure to track, that's a question that I would have for for communities that have implemented this previously.
I'd like to know how much it's going to cost us to collect that data. We have to spend $1,000 to install one of those kiosks, run downtown, and it costs us that, plus whatever our parking enforcement is, just to get that data. It's a pricey thing to
Absolutely.
pay for 6
Yeah,
months.
yeah. It has to be.
It's $10,000 to get paid at the same time we don't have this parking.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Lieutenant, you have a comment?
I just wanted to offer, I guess, as we're talking about who this will affect and how and all that, to the extent that we have that data now, for what it's worth, as part of getting ready for this whole presentation originally, I did look at our parking ticket data, which is probably the best picture we have of who's parking now. And I was surprised. I know, Mike, you said that you think 80 to 90% of people parking downtown are residents. 73% of the tickets we wrote in 2025 were to people that don't live in Newmarket. They were issued to people from elsewhere. So I think that's just an important piece of information to keep in mind. It's obviously not a one-to-one explanation of who's using parking now, but I would say it's the fairest picture we have of who is parking and
Insofar as everybody is kind of parking in the same manner as illegally and legally as that's it. So where you live is independent. The fact that 73% of tickets go to people who are from out of town could very well mean that people who are in town are either coming into downtown on foot or by bike or however,
Right.
or are not staying as long and are not overstaying their welcome.
Yeah,
They
Right.
know the rules.
rules.
Yes.
The younger mayor dealing left Chicago earlier, the hour between 11 p.m. and midnight, signed a contract with somebody in the Middle East for parking enforcement in Chicago. And they made up the sales price in the first year and have been reaping the rewards in the Middle East. And Chicago does not get that enforcement. That is so
Interesting.
We'll avoid that. Yes. Absolutely.
I think there are.
is located in England.
Yeah.
I think there are two topics. I don't know her name.
Ingrid.
Ingrid. I think there are two items that you, over the course of the evening, have brought up that maybe didn't get answered. One was you were asking about, people whether or not they have the app, and I think, Lieutenant, you said last time you were here that 25% of the people in town
thereabouts.
already are signed up with Park Mobile.
Yeah. So
Already have
prior-
accounts. 75 or not, but 25% already are. So they use it in Dover or Durham or Portsmouth or whatever local town. So a quarter of the population here in town already has that app on their phone of users. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What
25%.
Park Mobile reported to me, I got a much deeper presentation from them. Their explanation was that they have 2,500 registered users that list their home address as being in Newmarket. So they're saying you have 2,500 residents already that use our product daily.
So there was that, and the second one was you were talking about DoorDash, and some of the local towns like Dover, the first 30 minutes is free, and I think that the idea of having a certain amount of free, first few minutes free is on the table here.
Absolutely.
Is it not?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
that would help with the DoorDash or the Uber pickups or whatever.
When I'm walking down, they see people reaction to
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
any of the food establishments that they pick up, they have to pay for that first and find a parking source at the time.
Absolutely. No, that doesn't make, it doesn't even make any sense,
There's
but,
interesting sidebar to Park Mobile is that if you go to Dover, Jaheen Gordon, their lot,
yeah,
it's a private lot. They use Park Mobile. It doesn't go to the city of Dover. That goes to Jaheen. Actually, I think the bank. It goes to the bank. Yeah. So you can. So now all of a sudden, this could incentivize some people who have parking lots to allow people who park in the parking lots. Hey, if I got, a couple $1,000 a year, you want.
Wow,
you know,
that's
by
interesting.
doing this. So maybe. Well, I always think of the one at the condos, Rivermore Landing, which are, there's almost always the deck. Yeah, the deck. It was by the church. There's always 10 spots available there. If they could get paid for it, they might do it.
might not.
There are, certainly the Polish Club is huge.
I've got 2 spots in my driveway. Yeah.
Which is the issue of identified accessible spots, and that's something that is certainly part of this conversation as well.
And you have to remember that you have to have a doctor sign off, you can't walk more than an hour long. And you have folks who say, yeah, I don't have that doctor's note yet, but I do need the cane so that it don't end up having that doctor. And use a cane so that they don't fall.
Sure.
So those kind of considerations, maybe not as obvious because somebody goes on the street.
All right. I think in the interest of time and and my bedtime, I would say what's that? I not very well. That's the problem. I think we'll leave the conversation for now. I think there's a lot swirling in our heads, and we'll let it settle and come back to it. Yes, thank you so much for coming. You too, Ingrid. It was good to have you.
Please come back.
Yes, please come back
Want to
anytime.
be on this committee? Yeah. Get the spots.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I want to, before we adjourn, can I quickly
No, I wasn't
say-
going to adjourn. I was going to
okay.
actually ask Bart quickly for, and then you can.
Okay.
Or unless you want to jump in.
Just
so Bart
very,
can get
very
ready.
quickly before we leave. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Ingrid.
The idea of the funds, the proceeds from this being put into a fund, I think it's very important that we codify in that it can't be rated, that the fund cannot be rated.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I mean,
unfortunately,
very famous-
the council can rate any fund they want.
Well, very famously
make
in
the
New Jersey,
rules.
the gas tax all disappeared.
What's that?
In New Jersey, the gas
Well,
tax
we
fund was
had
rated.
one-
It's very famous.
Yeah, we had one in this town too, and it got used.
Yeah. So whatever we can do to,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people are just looking to steal the money, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Please avoid all costs. This is where we understand the intent of this, is to improve
Right.
That was, and just to kind of maybe address it a little bit, that was when we talked about it, albeit briefly, and at the council meeting when this was first brought up, when the lieutenant presented, the idea that you would keep those funds separate and that it's used to improve the area that the parking happens in, and or improve the access to the parking, or that you can find it more easily, or improve the walk from the remote lot to
Right.
downtown, so it looks attractive, and you've already arrived. It's not a remote lot. You're already there where you want to be. It's
You're
just
gonna
look
walk
at this
past the
beautiful
waterfall, for crying out loud.
Exactly. So
Yeah, currently, all parking improvements comes out of general fund, which is the tax base.
yes,
And therefore, people who never park downtown are
Pay for it.
paying
Yeah.
to maintain parking spots. This would make it a user fee. Those who use it create the parking infrastructure, which is much more fair. And, we have more revenue to work with. All of a sudden, we want to create some parking spots on Spring Street. It's like, yeah, it's going to cost
Right.
50 grand. Yep, we got it in the account.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And the potential income can be borrowed against it, can't it? Can it? I know tolls can be borrowed against. So, I don't know.
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know what
it
you
is-
mean, though.
it is
In order to
potential.
make investments into the
Right. I
Um,
mean, if something, if an improvement, like you say, needs to be done, and it's out of the budget,
Mm.
is it possible for the town to borrow against the potential income, once a income stream has been established?
That's- They could warrant and bonding, yeah.
Okay. I see.
Okay. I was wondering if you have any other, besides the receipt of responses. Do you have another update on the signage wayfinding?
Yeah, we got 11 bids.
11.
Oh.
Wow, that's a lot more than I had anticipated.
All of interest.
That's great.
So my question to you
Well, I think we can leave that up to administration. They're the pros.
I know.
I wouldn't mind taking a look at it.
Yeah, I can share. So
I mean, I think you should want to have it shared too.
I could, yeah, I just can't commit a lot of time to it.
Okay.
If there's 11, that's a big weed out. Maybe
Maybe you can take
Bart
an
could
initial.
weed out 50% of them.
Yeah,
We look at the top,
yeah.
whatever, 5.
What is your usual approach when you get when you have an RFP like this?
yeah, we're gonna develop that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Are they all in a reasonable ballpark, or?
Yeah.
So, obviously, the big factor is cost. The major filter used. But if anything, it's a good idea of what the market is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, just based on cost. But it's just good to see the difference and where they come from. Anyways, sounds like we're gonna be having
I'm willing to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. On that, technologies, still doing that. We're doing good conversation. Really focus on parking.
Yeah,
So it's
we have to.
back burner
The,
till.
the report has a deadline, so we have to move that through by the end of June, which doesn't sound like it shouldn't be a problem, but it does
The
take
days
a while,
fly by.
and we want to be thorough.
Yep. Yeah. And then, so, scientific finding, and then, just on that, we probably make some recommendations. That's when we do our piece of, I think what we.
Sometime in May.
Share a little more information at the next meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
for us to work off of, what's our next priority.
Yep, that's fair. And maybe we can move the complete streets piece to the summer as well.
Yeah, no, I figured that'd be one.
Yeah,
Imagine
right.
so. But I think one of the other, I had to read the tea leaves, is maybe that neighborhood planning commission.
Yes.
I do actually have some updates from Colin. It says we give them an idea of what we want to count.
Oh.
And that any type of
To do prior to or during the implementation.
Whatever, yeah, either pre-data, so maybe that data we can share at that moment in time in terms of
Yeah.
it's like this was happening, show the community, and so we do so we can potentially borrow from North Country demonstration infrastructure on loan. So they could, SRPC could take that, so if we come up with a plan to do a small demonstration project, say it's that infrastructure would be loaned.
I think in order to make that actually happen, I mean, I know we had kind of talked about it last year. I think we would want to spend some time on it at the May meeting, and develop a time. Who do we need? How do we want to go about implementing this? Who do we need to involve in this process? Do we have what we need? How long do we want this to last? Obviously, summertime is the time to do it, just because it's temporary stuff.
Sometimes I believe that it's good to do a year long, because then you
Yeah.
see the problems winter.
That's true.
Or spring runoff, or, yeah, okay, yeah. There's so many things that happen in the winter that don't happen in the summer, as far as maintenance and challenges.
I mean, the temporary infrastructure is, I mean, at least this is the way I understand it, is simply to, not simply, but is to create a new outlet to the street.
Yeah,
And whether the anything permanent that would be there year round
yeah.
would probably be implemented differently.
We might engineer, if we have, well, we can engineer it to some degree. My concern oftentimes is doing something and not having it well thought out, but we engineer roads all the time.
Yeah.
We find somebody to engineer
I
it.
think it's important that we don't do any of that demonstration until we
I agree.
Yeah, yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. 'Cause they
Right.
don't. So we need their
Yep.
So maybe it's twofold. If we just go out there and reach out and say, hey, what are your issues? What are you seeing? And then from there we go.
yeah.
So is there another, from a planning department perspective, is there another reason or another set of questions, another reason to reach out and do kind of a neighborhood charrette, if you will, either to identify opportunities, issues, or just to say, hey, we want to make sure that
Parking issues.
Yeah.
So one is the park at the end.
Well, Sliding Rock.
Slide around. There's parking issues there,
yes.
so might be an
yes.
opportunity to reach out to understand that a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the traffic issues. And then maybe like land use issues. Right there.
Used to be a
But-
skating rink, yeah.
Right. But is there opportunities to add more communities?
Yeah.
What would that look like? What would be?
I think if if you have an hour to devote to identifying that and limiting it to maybe 3-4 issues to talk about, and then we go and do a neighborhood potluck or something like that.
Why was it that last one wasn't attended well? We all met down there to look at it, and we
That was just
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
just the committee
That
going.
was just, that wasn't. a-
we thought we'd put it out to people in the neighborhood. No.
No, it was just us, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be a two. It's like one, go in there, and almost like. Have necessarily them drum. Could just be in there and have them identifying issues, us digesting that and come up with follow-up questions. Or maybe some sort of analysis, like, this is what there's some opportunities to maybe solve some of these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Might not even necessarily be capital.
Yep.
I think that's a better approach, because we're assuming going into it. I think that's where we should, it's the wrong approach. We've heard anecdotally solutions, observed solutions. So, I don't know.
So
but,
you mean we're assuming that there is an issue with people going the wrong way down Cedar Street, let's say.
Right, so I think we're, obviously it's an issue, but how often? What do the folks that live there are actually seeing? So it's more, maybe that's your point. Our question is, we hear that people are not abiding by the traffic. What are you seeing?
Is there an HOA that we could invite, like maybe some leadership to come?
Single ownership lots, and then there's apartments. Actually, there is.
There is an HOA down there. There's
So all the way
two.
at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, so maybe two HOA, maybe.
Would it be more efficient to invite the HOA to come to one of our meetings and just say, this is, maybe give them a heads up, say, this is why we're inviting you. We'd like you to discuss it, or would it be better to do that in a meeting?
I think I'm not sure that this is kind of the right format.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. I'm not sure.
This is the ideal, right? I'm ideally, to me, this is an opportunity to try out an approach to reaching out and becoming active in a neighborhood and inviting people to generate ideas and opportunities and wishes for how their neighborhood could be improved or straightened out, or I noticed that, and one effect is, of course, that we would hopefully get information, data, ideas, but also an effect would be to leave the neighborhood with an experience that has brought people together.
Mhm.
And so, because I think one of the objectives, if I understood the Charter Commission right, one of the objectives is to figure out how to strengthen and activate our democratic processes, and that means to invite people into the fold and create opportunities for people to participate and do that and become active, and meetings at 7:00 at night are not necessarily conducive to that, and so I think maybe going into the neighborhood and doing something there, only 15 people show up, that wouldn't be bad at all. But beginning that process and figuring out how we can, maybe do that on an annual basis in different neighborhoods, I think would be a really great outcome for us to get. Yes.
To introduce ourselves into
Yeah.
what's that look like? How do we make it approachable? 'Cause I can see us going in there, asking them, and the first thing is, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your angle?
Yeah.
And so like, how do we?
How is it framed?
What's the first contact?
Mhm.
What can we do? So I think we discuss that. I think very good. That's basically a template we use. We're building this template.
Yes.
To go through the communities
Yes,
and
template. That's a good term to
Which
use.
is just the content. Is how does one go into and basically offer assistance? Or
Listen. It's a listening session.
It's a
Yeah.
listen. There you go. There we go. I like that. It's a listen. We're going and listening. This is like our listening. We're going into the neighborhoods and listening to understand what the neighborhoods are, challenges, successes.
And the reason we would go to New Village is because it's a fairly defined, clearly defined neighborhood, geographically, and there are some issues that have been brought to us to consider. So that's why. I mean, it's not because we're singling out New Village for some other. It's just
And there were complaints.
Yeah, there were
We had
complaints, exactly.
So I think people receive it well. If, hey, the town's responding to our complaints,
yeah. I hope so.
they hopefully think, oh, good, we were heard.
Right, and rather than trying to come up with some solutions in the lab, why not try to hear what people see it every day that might have some great ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
Try that, and opportunities for improving the neighborhood can be kind of a not a side benefit, but it should be part of the conversation as well. So just to have that, and also, I think. You don't always have to wait for the town to do something. Maybe you just need to say, okay, we would like to do this. How can we? Can you help us with this? Can you set it up so that when there is town land available, clearly, it's a neighborhood asset. It could be a neighborhood asset, but it's not being utilized. Why not? What would you be willing to do there? What could you be doing there? And I think that would be really good learning for us to take back too.
Maybe how it already is being.
Oh, how is it? Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we saw those wide streets. How are people using them in the summer as an asset?
So yeah, it's just seek to understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Listening from there, we
And I think if we then talk about and introduce at that time, our idea of, we want to try out narrowing the exit from Cedar Street to one lane so that it's much less likely that people will turn into that street against traffic. What do you think of this? And so that we can bring it into the community and be there, and maybe chalk it out on the road.
Yeah.
Or even have a schematic design by somebody who can draw up something, hand out,
Yeah.
this is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And the benefits, why is this good?
Yep. Yep.
I also see potential for improving sightline distance by narrowing that discharge
Mhm.
and moving it away from the blind corner, so just move it to the
center.
to the right side.
Or to one side.
Yeah, and that will improve
by
sightline.
the railroad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that'll just improve sightline.
Mm-hmm.
Which some people go really fast on Elm Street,
Yeah.
And that can be, actually, you know, that's a site of the, pretty much the site, the first fatal accident in Newmarket was at that train tracks. And it was a car versus train.
Oh.
And it was a pretty horrible story. I don't remember the whole story. Mike Provo's not here to tell it anymore, but somebody was rushing home to do something. It was really a ghastly story. I think Wendy Chase would probably know the story. But that's the site of the first motor vehicle accident, well, fatal motor vehicle accident in Newmarket. At the train tracks, close.
Yeah, right there.
No,
Okay.
John
So
Carmack,
we'll
he would know.
come prepared for that.
And also to let everyone know, we know that we had two members resign. We do have two applicants,
Oh, good.
so that I know of. There may be more, but that's pretty good.
Ingrid.
She's not listening anymore. She's given up on us.
No, she's looking down, very, no, don't look up, don't look up. Don't look up.
All right. I think that was really constructive. Anything on anybody else's mind?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, Madeline.
Can't be ice cream for me, but sounds good. No, nothing.
I'm thinking about right now.
Okay. Okay. I'm thinking
Yeah.
sleepy time tea and
Oh, there you go.
and bedtime.
Wow.
All right.
Who's making that motion?
I'll make a motion to
There we go.
adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
We
Thank
are
you.
adjourned. Thank you very much.